Moscow already knew about the tunnel before American shovels ever touched the dirt. In 1955, Berlin, the CIA and British intelligence bored a tunnel beneath Soviet-controlled soil. For 11 months, they recorded Soviet military calls, believing every word was secret. The operation was called Gold, a joint venture between the CIA and Britain's Secret Intelligence Service. Its target, 3 underground cables carrying Soviet military and KGB communications out of East Germany. Engineers planned a tunnel starting in West Berlin and running 600 yards into the Soviet sector. They disguised the entrance inside a newly built United States Army warehouse near the sector border. Digging began in secret, hauling out 3,000 tons of soil without alerting Soviet patrols above. Soil was hidden inside the warehouse walls, disguised as ordinary construction supplies and building material. The tunnel had to pass beneath an active Soviet highway without collapsing or being detected. Engineers used steel plates and air conditioning systems to prevent noise and vibration from reaching the surface. By early 1955, the tunnel reached its target, the cable trench beside the Soviet highway. A secret tap room was built directly beneath the cables, packed with recording and amplification equipment. Technicians tapped the cables directly, splicing in without ever cutting Soviet phone service. Recordings began flowing continuously, capturing Soviet military, KGB, and East German government conversations. Hundreds of tapes were shipped daily to London and Washington for translation and analysis. Hundreds of linguists and analysts worked around the clock just to keep pace with the material. The operation produced over 50,000 reels of recorded Soviet and East German telephone traffic. It seemed like the greatest intelligence coup of the early Cold War, undetected and unstoppable. But one man inside British intelligence already knew the tunnel's exact location before construction started. His name was George Blake, a British officer secretly working for Soviet intelligence since 1951. Blake attended the planning meetings for Operation Gold and passed every detail straight to Moscow. So the Soviets knew about the tunnel before the first shovel of dirt was ever moved. Yet Moscow let the tap run for nearly a year, and the reason still puzzles historians today. One theory holds that Moscow feared exposing Blake, their most valuable mole inside British intelligence. Sacrificing the tunnel too quickly might have pointed suspicion directly back at their prized source. So Soviet commanders let real military traffic keep flowing through the tapped cables for months. Historians still debate whether Moscow deliberately fed false information through those same cable lines. Most declassified CIA reviews conclude the intercepted material was genuine, not a staged deception. Protecting normal troop movements, logistics chatter, and routine orders cost Moscow little in practice. Only the most sensitive KGB and nuclear-related traffic would have needed careful, deliberate concealment. Meanwhile, in Washington and London, analysts had no idea the operation was already compromised. They treated every intercepted word as a genuine window into Soviet military planning and capability. Reports drawn from the tunnel shaped assessments of Soviet troop strength across East Germany. Some material even reached President Eisenhower's desk as part of daily intelligence briefings. For nearly a year, the tunnel functioned exactly as its planners in Washington had hoped. Then, in April 1956, Soviet repair crews arrived above ground with heavy digging equipment. They claimed to be fixing a cable fault caused by unusually heavy spring rainfall. Inside the tunnel, American technicians heard the digging grow closer through their listening equipment. Within hours, Soviet soldiers broke directly into the tap chamber built beneath the highway. They discovered the amplifiers, recorders, and the American-built tap room in full view. Soviet officers staged a press event, inviting journalists down into the captured tunnel itself. They publicly denounced the tunnel as proof of American aggression and violation of East German sovereignty. Soviet newspapers ran photographs of the tunnel entrance and its American recording equipment for weeks. Yet the timing of the so-called discovery struck many intelligence officers as suspiciously convenient. 11 months had passed since the tap began, almost exactly matching earlier internal CIA estimates. That estimate had projected roughly how long the tunnel could realistically stay hidden underground. That coincidence left some historians wondering if Moscow simply let the clock run out. Whatever the reason, the discovery ended the most productive wiretap operation of the early Cold War. American officials in Washington braced for a wave of public embarrassment and diplomatic backlash. Instead, something unexpected happened. The exposure became a propaganda victory for the United States. American newspapers praised the engineering feat, calling it a triumph of ingenuity over Soviet secrecy. The Central Intelligence Agency quietly allowed details of the tunnel's construction to reach American reporters. Highlighting American technical skill helped offset the embarrassment of Soviet foreknowledge and the mole inside. For years, the public had no idea Moscow had known about the tunnel from day one. That truth stayed buried until George Blake's own arrest, years later, exposed the full betrayal. In 1961, a Polish defector identified Blake as a Soviet agent operating deep inside British intelligence. Blake confessed and was convicted in London, sentenced to 42 years for espionage against Britain. During questioning, Blake finally admitted he had betrayed Operation Gold before its very first shovel. That confession finally answered a question that had haunted American intelligence officers for 5 years. Yet even with Blake's confession, historians still debate how much the tunnel truly cost Moscow. Some analysts argue Moscow sacrificed only low-value traffic, protecting its most critical secrets entirely. Others point to declassified reviews showing genuine military intelligence flowed through those cables for months. A 1968 internal CIA study later concluded the intercepted material had been overwhelmingly authentic, not staged. That study found no evidence the Soviets had systematically fed false information through the tapped lines. So despite the betrayal, Operation Gold still delivered real value to Western military planners. Analysts used the material to refine estimates of Soviet troop numbers and equipment across East Germany. It also revealed patterns in Soviet military organization that Western intelligence had never confirmed before. So the tunnel became both a security failure and, paradoxically, a genuine intelligence success. That paradox forced intelligence agencies to rethink how they judged the true worth of espionage. Even compromised operations, they realized, could still yield valuable strategic insight if handled carefully. The Berlin Tunnel became a case study taught inside intelligence academies for decades that followed. Beyond Berlin, the tunnel's discovery reshaped how both sides thought about underground cable security. Soviet engineers began burying critical lines deeper and encasing them in reinforced concrete conduits. Western intelligence agencies, in turn, studied the tunnel as a model for future underground operations. Engineering lessons from gold influenced how the United States approached later covert construction projects abroad. The operation also forced a hard look at how deeply Soviet moles had penetrated Western agencies. George Blake was not the only Soviet source ever uncovered inside British and American intelligence circles. His case joined a growing list of Cambridge-linked defectors who had quietly served Soviet intelligence for years. Names like Kim Philby and Donald McLean surfaced in the same espionage networks Blake had used. These betrayals forced British intelligence to rebuild trust and tighten vetting procedures for years afterward. Operation Gold was not the CIA's only tunnel effort against Soviet communications during the 1950s. A similar earlier project in Vienna had tapped Soviet lines with considerable success before Berlin began. That earlier operation, codenamed Silver, gave planners confidence the Berlin tunnel could succeed on a larger scale. Vienna's tunnel operated for years without Soviet detection, unlike its more famous successor in Berlin. That contrast highlighted just how badly Blake's betrayal had undermined the Berlin operation from the start. Despite the compromise, the physical engineering of the Berlin tunnel remained a genuine technical achievement. Its air conditioning, drainage, and soundproofing systems solved problems no previous tunnel project had faced. Military engineers later applied these same drainage and shoring techniques to other classified construction projects. The tunnel also demonstrated how much raw material a covert operation could move without arousing suspicion. That logistical discipline became a template for concealment in later Cold War construction and supply operations. Historians today still study gold as proof that even betrayed missions can leave lasting institutional value. The physical remains of the tunnel entrance in Berlin still exist, marked today as a historic site. Declassified files on Operation Gold were only fully released decades after the tunnel itself was found. Those documents finally let historians compare CIA, British, and Soviet accounts of the same operation. Piecing those records together revealed just how tangled the truth behind Operation Gold really was. In the end, Operation Gold stands as both a warning and a lesson in Cold War intelligence. It proved that betrayal and brilliance can occupy the very same secret operation at once. Wars are rarely won by secrecy alone, but by how well nations use what secrecy reveals. Subscribe to Colonel Mittens for more true stories of the hidden battles that shaped our world.